beautiful warm day here, and we thought that we would sit in front of this beautiful little lake that we just found and tell you about how to destroy your marriage.
Well, and possibly how to save it.
Yep. Well, hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth. Live simple.
Live free. Yeah, so how to destroy your marriage. Let me tell you right up front in 5 easy words. Try to change your spouse. That's it. Try to change your spouse. You know, when we first got married, I loved Elizabeth dearly. But after we were married for a while, I found some things with her that I really kind of didn't like and wanted to try to change a little bit. So I went on a campaign to lovingly and gently change her, right?
Well, yeah.
You know what I accomplished? I accomplished a lot of stress and friction in our marriage.
Well, and actually, I just got sadder and sadder.
Yeah. It doesn't work. And the more I tried to change her, the more friction we had in our marriage relationship. And, you know, like probably most young married couples, we had a few rocky years.
Yeah.
But thank God, you know, he saw us through it. And then a little while ago, I discovered a book called Every Man's Marriage, and that completely changed us. That changed our marriage. We did a video, gosh, almost 5 years ago now, talking about this very thing, talking about that book, and talking about, well, the video was called 40 Years of Marriage. How did we do that?
Yeah.
So I'll put a link up here and also in the description down below. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend that you go and see that, how we survived 40 years of marriage and we're still happy.
And coming up on 45.
Yeah, we're coming up on 45 now. So anyway, in that book, in that video, I learned about something called trampling. It's not quite as bad as domineering. It's a little bit more gentle, or total control. But I discovered that I was trampling. I was trampling all over Elizabeth, trying to enforce my will on her, trying to change her. All it did was create friction. And so I stopped doing that. Right?
Yes. So yeah. He became very aware, and it was an amazing process that we went through.
Yeah. And so our marriage absolutely blossomed, and now we have one of the best marriages that I know of anybody that I know. And we just simply don't fight anymore. We haven't in a long time, until we started doing videos together.
Now you have to understand, we're not talking like fighting. We're just talking about not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. Here's what we discovered. We have totally different styles in doing videos. And when we first started, it was my thing, and she was just kind of coming along. I directed everything, and she was just the actor, you know, in the video.
It took me a long time to get comfortable with even being in front of the camera.
Right. But as she got into it, as time went on, she started to have some of her own ideas, and she started interspersing some of her own ideas into my videos. And it didn't always jive with my vision of what the video should be. So finally we came to the point where she wanted to do her own videos. So now we sit down and we say, okay, whose video is this? Is this mine or is this yours? If it's her video, she directs it, she writes it, she edits it, she does the whole thing, and I let her do her thing. But then I had some friction coming up here as well, and what I'm about to tell you is going to seem like a lot of criticism of her, and it is. But let me tell you right up front, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong in my attitude. So let me describe what I was seeing, what I was feeling. I am a very early riser.
Very early.
I'm talking like no matter how hard I try to sleep in, I'm usually up by 5, sometime between 4 and 5. And I get up in the morning, and that's when my brain is the most productive, most creative. So I get up in the morning, and many times if I'm shooting a video, I will do that at 5 o'clock in the morning, or I will certainly edit videos. And I like to have my videos up and loaded, and you can actually load them and schedule them to release a couple days in advance.
Yeah.
I like to have them loaded and ready to go way in advance. Elizabeth, on the other hand, and this is where I started to have her problem, she wouldn't do it until late at night. Like, if we did a video, filmed it in the evening, the next day she was going to edit it and then upload it. She wouldn't get up until late, and then she'd spend a good part of the afternoon doing other stuff and not getting around to it. And I started to boil. It's like, don't you know you have this video that you have to have up by tonight for release tomorrow morning? And she just kind of like, I'll get to it. And I was just, and it was really irritating me, and it was really getting to me. It's like I started to feel like she's procrastinating, she's lazy, why isn't she doing this? If it was mine, I would have had it up 2 days ago. Why is she doing this? And I really started to boil. And then the Lord got a hold of me and said, remember, no trampling? And then it went one step further, don't try to change her. And I started to evaluate what was really happening. As I told you, I'm a very early morning person. She is not. Her body, what's it called, the circadian rhythm?
Circadian rhythm, your biological clock.
Is very different. And where I'm up early and my brain is just going crazy in the morning, come 8 o'clock at night, I turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, he just basically shuts down.
By 9 o'clock or 9:30, I'm gone and I'm in bed.
Of course, because he gets up early.
Her body, basically, her brain comes alive about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
And she's up a good part of the night, and that's when her most productive time is for her brain. That's when she's the most alert, the most creative. Blows my mind, but she says the same thing about me in the morning.
Yeah, so I'm in a coma when he gets up in the morning.
So what was happening here? Was she being lazy by not doing the work during the day when I would have already had it done? No, she was still in her brain fog time because she just doesn't come alive until later in the evening. Come 6 o'clock, she's ready to go. 6 in the evening, she's ready to go, and she can work all night if need be to get it done. And that's how she works best. That's how her body circadian rhythm works best. Totally different from me. And here I was trying to change her, trying to make her body and her brain work the same way that mine did. And all it did was just made my blood boil and started to create friction again between us. I realized what happened. I realized how I was approaching it, that I was trampling, that I was trying to control, that I was trying to change her. Don't change your spouse. I was trying to change her to be like me. I repented of that. I let that go. And now when my blood starts to boil, I just, it's not her. That's not who she is. She'll get it done. You know what? She has always gotten it done. She's always gotten the video up on time. So, bottom line is, don't try to change your spouse. And if your spouse is different than you, there might be a real reason for it. It might be some kind of a biological reason, like her with her, different body clock than mine. It might be some sort of a emotional reason of something that they have a hang up from their past, or who knows what, The more you back away and just let them be who they are, the more harmonious your marriage is going to be.
Well, and even just the kind of ways that we film things and the things that we put in, I feel like that it's been kind of a good compliment to each other, because I started watching a lot more videos once we started the channel, and I realized that when people were just themselves and relaxed, and sometimes they made mistakes and everything, that it made me feel comfortable. And so he is the one that does these wonderful special effects. He's got everything down, and he does a good job with it. And so when I first wanted us to start kind of loosening up a little bit and just, we've always been ourselves, but I mean, to just not be afraid to sometimes say something crazy backwards, or just, well, I'm just a walking blooper reel, honestly. And but when we both kind of started relaxing a little bit, me making sure that I'm respectful of the kind of vision that he has, and him kind of letting me relax with stuff.
Yeah, I was all about producing as professional of a video as I could with my amateur equipment. I would cut out all the bloopers. They don't go, they don't fit, and get them out of here. I would try to, studied about how to set up the shot and all different kinds of things. I wanted to be as professional as I could. Bloopers, they're gone. And she wanted me to put some bloopers in, and no, it's not professional. And then she convinced me by saying, every once in a while we watch a movie, in the theater or TV or something, and at the end of it they have a blooper reel. She She said, "Do you enjoy those?" And I had to admit that I did. So I started to loosen up a little bit. So I started to take a few of our bloopers and put them at the ends of our videos. And what I discovered was that she was right. And some of the best comments that we got about the video were not about the video, but about the bloopers.
Yeah.
So then I relaxed even more, and now I just basically leave the bloopers in, not the really bad ones sometimes.
Well, we don't want to create confusion.
Yeah. So that's where I learned from her, instead of trying to change her into the professional actress that I wanted it to be.
Good luck. Oh yeah, no, it's just been, I think, a kind of a cool combination, because I've learned a lot from him. He's taught me about editing. I have a ball with all of that. I really enjoy it. But I think that I like to know people are just themselves, and believe me, we are just us. And I just wanted to be more relaxed and let you know that, yep, this is just who we are. And yes, I'm, like I said, I blooper all the time.
And we have such a different style in our videos. You can tell which ones are mine and which ones are hers.
Yeah.
The ones that have mostly her are hers, and the whole pace and the style and everything is totally different. And she does complete videos about, I don't even know how to say it, just superfluous little things like pictures on the wall and what's the name of the dishes you like?
Oh yeah,
Pioneer Woman
Pioneer
dishes.
Woman.
What, are you kidding me? I would never do something like that. But what she made me realize is that actually our viewer demographic is about 60 or 65% women. And you women, I guess, apparently she tells me you all like that stuff. So I am deferring to her to put that kind of stuff in, because I never would.
Yeah, I know I like to watch it.
Yeah.
Just things that are pretty, things that just make you happy, things that are fun to just be noticing. And so I'm thrilled that I've got the freedom to be able to do that. And then we have fun doing videos together. We have to find a kind of a time during the day where we're both alert.
Yeah.
Kind of a sweet spot in the day.
If we do them too early in the morning, she's just like, ugh. And if we do it too late at night, I'm just, So we have to do it at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we find times, unless of course there's something special we're specifically videoing, but we found a way, to make it work. And Bill was just talking quite a bit about how that he has tried so hard just to let me be myself. And honestly, I can say that I have appreciated that so much, because it's like even with the house paint, I was very careful in his office that it's something he'd be really comfortable with. And I'm not surprised now that he let me kind of go with what I wanted in my office area. I'm going to have fun doing that.
It's not something that I would ever choose. But like I said in the last video when we showed the pictures, if I go in there and I start to hyperventilate, I could just go into my room and cool off again.
And he's giving me a chance to show him what ideas I have and how that it's going to ultimately work out, and he doesn't have to ever just fall in love with that in there, but I am making sure the space he works in a lot is very comfortable for him, and he can make that any way he wants it, of course. And the main part of the house is very relaxed.
Yeah.
The thing that impresses me is that he's giving me a shot with the bedroom, and I just want you to know I appreciate that. I'm going to be sharing pretty soon about some really cool stuff I've found at like Goodwills and thrift shops, and I'll show that to you. But I'm kind of excited, and he's willing to give me a good chance in there, and I appreciate that. And most of the time when you're asleep, the room's dark, so. But what I wanted to say too is that he was talking about trying to give me a chance just to be myself, and I've just greatly appreciated that. I feel like I can just kind of exhale and find out what would give me joy, what would I love to do. But it goes both ways. I was growing up, we were not riding motorcycles. My parents were really concerned about that. I had a dear friend that was injured badly on one. And I've loved camping and going places and adventures, but I've never been what you could call somebody that could imagine bungee jumping or something like that. So I end up marrying an adrenaline junkie. Oh, big time. The only one I know that's more of an adrenaline junkie personally than him is our son.
Yeah.
And so I find out that he wants our honeymoon to be 5,600 miles on a motorcycle, and he wants me to drive part of the time, if that's what you call it, the one controlling the motorcycle. And so I did. He taught me, and I did manage to get my license, and I never thought I'd be spending almost 6,000 miles on a motorcycle on our honeymoon trip. What an adventure, you know. And then he starts, he was skydiving, he was hang gliding. Excuse me, I've stood on the side of a mountain and watched him 6,000 feet in the air, just flying off a mountain. And I couldn't even see if he was okay till I got down again, and that was over a half-hour drive. He had to wait for us to be able to get back down the mountain to pick him up. Rock climbing on incredible cliffs and just so many things like that. I'm pretty claustrophobic, and my husband ends up loving spelunking. And I'm not talking about going into commercial caves. I'm talking about going into not commercial caves.
Crawl on your belly type caves.
Yes. So I had to decide early on that if there's an adventure I could share with him, I would do it. But I couldn't just stifle all this stuff that he wanted to be able to do. And I got to actually admit, he's careful. I mean, he's always done the proper safety precautions. But I just had to let him be himself. And that was very different than I had ever really known. To have people doing stuff that I would have considered really dangerous. Like I said, he was careful, but it was still adrenaline junkie stuff, you know. And so I can honestly say I have never ever tried to stop him or squelch him. If he's wanted to go off on these huge long bike rides where I could never in a million years have kept up, I've gone with him on some, but you know, where he'd go 900 miles in 14 days.
On a bicycle.
On a bicycle, not a motorcycle, a bicycle. I wanted him to be able to have the freedom to just take off and do that. And so I couldn't, it would have been a mistake to change him. And if I even could, he would have just been frustrated all the time. And then we end up with a son who is like insanely active in a good way, but he's very active and very adventurous. And from the time he was young, I'd be like, oh my goodness. And his dad would be like, he's fine, he's being careful, let him do it. And it was really good for me to have him as a husband with having our son, because we were able to, you know, we had to make sure he was taking good precautions, but we had to let him be who he was. And he has been very adventurous. And I know that it would have been a mistake to try to squelch that in him. You know, he's a strong man, takes good care of his family, and he has had quite the adventures in his life. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though it was very different for me, and I wish so much I could have kept up with all the stuff he was doing all the time, it's been a blessing in my life that he's been so adventurous, you know. And so why change how God made him?
Yeah, one thing that I love about Elizabeth right from the very beginning is that she also has a very adventurous heart. Not adrenaline, but adventure. There's a difference. I'm into adrenaline. She is into adventure. I like adventure too, but you know, honeymoon on a motorcycle, backpacking. We did some backpacking in our earlier days up in the Rockies above Timberline and that sort of thing.
Serious up there backpacking.
She loves that kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, she went on one of my bicycle tours with me on a tandem bicycle. We did 420 miles
in 10 days.
Yeah, and she did very well. She was very proud of herself. So she loves the adventure. She just either doesn't want the adrenaline or can't physically do it. So, but I appreciate that her adventurous heart still allowed me to do that without fighting with me and trying to change me into somebody that I wasn't.
Well, I mean, a good example is when he does technical rock climbing and like sleeps 80 feet above the ground in a hammock and all that kind of stuff, ice climbing, all that. To him, repelling is just kind of how you get down.
Repelling is coming back down the rope again?
Yeah. He doesn't consider that to be exciting. The exciting part is hanging on the side of that rock and managing to climb it. To him, repelling is just, well, that's how I get back down again.
That's my exit strategy.
Yes. Well, one time he did get me repelling a little bit. It was off a great big boulder. I was very, very safely roped in, and I wasn't going to get hurt, but it scared the jeebers out of me when I first had to drop down. Everything inside me was going, don't fall off the rock, don't fall off the rock. Because it wasn't top roped above me, it was like, you know, below me. I had to lean back out on the rope. And I did fine, and I got down just fine. But to him, that would have been very, very tame. But to me, it was quite the quite the adventure. I've actually followed him into some caves. I couldn't believe I even did it. It's pure trust. I've been on the back of motorcycles with him on adventures like you just would not believe. And so it's been a wonderful asset to my life. And it just took being willing to say, you know what, he's really different. And if I can join in, I will, you know. Just like he lets me have my light pink and dark pink room. So, yeah. When God puts people together, there's just nothing in us that isn't somehow going to be a blessing in that other person's life, no matter what it ends up meaning. You know, it's so yes. The trying to make the other person into someone they're not just makes everybody frustrated, miserable. Yeah, yeah.
So how do you ruin your marriage? Try to change your spouse. How do you make your marriage better? Accept your spouse for exactly who he or she is. Let them be themselves. Celebrate that instead of fighting against it. When you are both set free within the marriage to be who you are, you actually come closer together in love and appreciation for each other's differences.
And you can find those differences start to really become blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Even if something about that other person helps you realize something about yourself, it can be a blessing. Yep.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, like I said before, go ahead and watch our video, 40 Years of Marriage. How do we do that? I'll put the link down below. I think you'll get a lot of blessing from that as well. So, anything else?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thanks for watching.
Live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yes, we do love you guys. And we will see you soon. And man, I am loving the air down here.
Absolutely. All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.